Pelicans trade CJ McCollum to the Wizards for Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, ladies and gentlemen, the 40th overall pick. Ladies and gentlemen, Pelicans talk multiple times this week. Look at that, huh? A little bit of Pelicans talk. Hey, by the way, before we get into this video, guess what? The store is live. Merch is live. The store is live. Get involved. Shirts, mug. We got the Dome Dog shirt. We got the boiling hot takes, the gumbo of hot takes, if you will. And then the Skrmetta mug. Get on down there, all right? The store is open. I am shooketh opening this store to the public. I've been terrified to do it, but I've actually had a few people find it before I even released it, did some orders, so I have to release it now. We are not drop shipping. I'm the warehouse manager, so give me a little bit of grace here. Give me a little bit of time. I'm going to try and get these orders out as fast as possible, but I've never shipped nothing before. Okay, the Titanic, this is out of control. So, but thank you very much for everyone who's already made orders, who buys a shirt, all that stuff. $50 gets you free shipping, by the way. I don't think that's on the site, but it is. If you get $50, you see the free shipping. But yeah, everyone who supports, you don't have to buy a shirt or a mug to support, but it's just incredible the support that everyone's given me over the last couple of years here, and we're just getting started. So let's go ahead and get straight into the CJ McCollum news. This trade, it makes a lot of sense for both teams. It's one of those weird trades where it's like, yeah, okay. Like when it comes through, if you're the Pelicans, you're going, all right. And if you're the Wizards, you're like, all right. Like it just kind of is what both teams need. They're both kind of in that period. The Wizards are trying to get, they're trying to get some veteran players in there. They're trying to mentor some of these young guys. They're trying to be professionals. They're trying to not be one of the worst franchises in the NBA. So CJ McCollum fits that perfect. He is a professional. He is a high character guy. He is a true mentor. He's exactly who you'd want for that. Conversely, and I ain't talking shoes, the Pels are trying to get younger. They're trying to get more dynamic. They're trying to get more athletic. And also, Troy Weaver, the new GM, Joe Dumars, they are bringing in their guys. Saddiq Bey, obviously Jordan Poole, but Weaver was with Washington. They're Washington guys. Saddiq Bey also put up 50 points for the Detroit Pistons, which just so happens to be where Troy Weaver was before Washington. So this is that moment of these guys kind of just saying, hey, look, if we're going to do this, we need our people in here. I think it makes sense for what the Pels want to do. Jordan Poole, should he be your main guy? No. Should he be making $30, $40 million? No. Should he be, the guy who's supposed to win you games? No. But he is a lights-out shooter. He is a playmaker. He is dynamic. He's still young, certainly younger than CJ McCollum. So from where I'm sitting, I like it.
News out of the NBA where the Wizards have acquired CJ McCollum from the Pelicans. That is per multiple reports. The trade will also send Kelly Olynyk and a future second-round pick to D.C. In return, New Orleans will receive Jordan.
You know what's so crazy about Kelly Olynyk? When I was going to games last year, there was quite a few games where you watch a few possessions and you're like, wait a second, are they running the offense through Kelly Olynyk? And then you watch and you're like, damn, they are. Like they are running the offense through him. He is literally doing everything. He's touching the ball first. He's facilitating. He's the scorer. It was crazy to watch. It was vomit-inducing.
Jordan Poole, Saddiq Bey, and the number 40 overall pick in this year's draft. The trade will give Washington nearly $100 million in cap space in the 2026 season, allowing them to make a big splash in free agency.
Yeah, so the 40th pick is interesting. Really, this whole thing is interesting because the Pels now have the 7, 23, and 40, right? So I have a sneaky feeling they're going to make a big-time move, whether that is moving up in the draft to get whoever, or whether that's packaging these picks, Jordan Poole, maybe even whoever, and going and trying to trade for a big-time player. We'll see. I just have all the stuff that's been happening, all the picks, all the trades, it just seems like it's setting up for something. What is it? Who the hell knows? It's you don't want to get too far in the speculations, but I would be stunned if the Pels were done. I'd be shocked if this is just it. I think they're setting up for something.
Let's welcome in our coach here, Avery Johnson. All right, Avery, we're going to start getting these trades fast and furious. What do you think about this one going down?
This has Joe Dumars' name written all over it. Joe Dumars is the new sheriff in town as president of basketball operations for the New Orleans Pelicans. And he basically wants to resurrect his team and get this team to become a playoff team. And he's starting by getting rid of some pieces that he probably believes underperformed. CJ McCollum, terrific scorer, but very inconsistent, not that great on the defensive end. So you can see Joe Dumars, because he really loves guards that can defend their position.
I do appreciate, it would have been easy for Dumars to come in here and just be like, you know what, we're going to take it slow. We're going to try and figure out what we have here. But I do appreciate that he's coming in, shaking things up, and bringing in players and making moves and doing what he's got to do. And again, I think I like CJ. I mean, I think CJ was great for the city. I think he was a great spokesperson for the team, and nothing but good things to say about CJ. I didn't try his wine, but if he sends me a bottle, I'll try it. But nothing against him. It's just the Pels are going in a different direction, and this is not surprising at all, but I do like that Dumars and his team are hitting the ground running.
So this is Joe Dumars,
especially right before the draft,
putting his imprint on this team, trying to revamp this roster. We'll see what happens as it relates to Zion Williamson, if they're going to retain him or if they're going to move him on. But this is going to be the start of moves that Joe Dumars is going to make to really try to position the Pelicans to be a playoff team.
Okay, so this is step one. Obviously, we have the draft tomorrow. A lot of people, have talked about what they're going to do, because there's a number of positions that they do need to fill. What should the second step be for this Pelicans team if they do want to resurrect this team to get to the playoffs?
Well, I mean, like I said earlier in this video, we're going to see if they move up. We're going to see if they package something together, move some pieces, get up in the draft. And then obviously, if they're targeting a specific player, that's going to answer the question of like what positions they're looking to fill. But it's also interesting to see what will happen now with some of these other players, right? Dumars and his team, they inherited all these players. So what do they think of Herb Jones? What do they think of Trey Murphy? What do they think of anyone on the roster? We know what they think of Zion and Willie Green. They've already said they're committed to him, whatever. And granted, talk is cheap around draft time, but I would think everybody could be moved. I would think anyone and everybody could be moved because Dumars isn't tied to any of them.
The Pelicans made a deal with the Indiana Pacers, and they have Indiana's first-round pick late in the first round, so that gives them 2 first-round picks. But I think at the end of the day, the Pelicans are going to really look for more shooting on the perimeter. That if they're going to retain Zion Williamson, he needs space. He needs space to operate.
Yeah, that was a big problem. In the video I made earlier this week, I talked about there were times over the last couple of years where, Zion's crashing in, Jonas is already down there, concrete feet Jonas, and then Zion has to dish it out to some combination of Jose Alvarado, Dyson Daniels, Larry Nance, Najee Marshall, and none of these guys are really shooters. So even Herb Jones isn't a shooter. So it does kind of make sense to, when you're thinking about this team and you're thinking about at full health and fully available, you're thinking about DeJounte Murray and Zion crashing down and then him kicking it out to Trey Murphy or him kicking out to Jordan Poole. And all of a sudden it's like, well, I can see something here. I see a vision.
They need quality depth. You can tell with Indiana and also the world champs OKC, those teams are 9, 10, 11 deep. So they're going to look for quality depth.
Pels also the last couple of years have been horrific when it comes to the second string, third string, when they get in those rotations. A lot of the times it was just the longer the game went, the worse we got. I mean, I can't tell you how many times we're down 6 going into the half, and then we're down 22 going into the fourth quarter, because when some of the second and third rotational players that we've had compared to some of the second and third rotational players other teams have, it's unbelievable. I mean, some of these players, like Garrett Temple and players like that shouldn't even have been on the roster, much less on the floor. So, yeah, the Pels absolutely have to get deeper.
This move, but again, this is a situation where they want two-way players. They just don't want offensive players. They want players that can play both ends of the floor.
Yeah, of course, though, in Oklahoma City, Sam Presti took a couple years to acquire basically every draft pick for the next decade or so. Avery Johnson, we appreciate it. We will talk to you actually very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. Like I said, it isn't one of those things where Jordan Poole is not going to win the MVP. Jordan Poole is not going to drag this team to the playoffs, but it's a trade that does signal a vision. It does signal an identity. It does signal that this front office has an idea of what direction they want to go in, and maybe this is the first domino or one of multiple dominoes that are going to fall come draft night or whatever. But I like that they're proactive, and I like that they're changing some stuff up. I wouldn't have minded if they moved off Zion and Willie and just fully rebuilt this thing with their vision, and because they need something, right? Like the Pels need something. So we'll see how it plays out. We'll see if Jordan Poole and them even end up in New Orleans or if they're packaged and part of a deal by the time you watch this video. Who the hell even knows? But overall, I think it's a win-win for both teams. Washington made out fine. New Orleans makes out fine. On to draft night we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, buy a shirt, buy a mug. I will see you in the next video.